presentation there? Or do you want me to share it?
Or you can share from your end.
Okay,
so it's
cool.
easy for you to control.
All right, so let me do this. And let me know if it actually works.
Yes, we can see.
You got a full screen or just the?
Yes, yes, I can see, and now it's in the. You just have to go the full screen now. Slideshow view show.
Sure. Better now?
Perfect.
Cool. All right, look, so with no further ado, because I really want
or you can change, sorry, you can change, I think you can exit out of this and go the full screen. Yeah, I think this is showing the next slide as well. So better if it's all on one screen. Just, you can exit.
All right.
And then just go slideshow.
Slideshow, that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting the slideshow there. But let me just see.
Yeah, go display settings.
Display settings. Yep, now. Better.
There we go. Yep, perfect.
Cool.
That's good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, so thank you very much to all of you spending some time with us in here, just to get a little bit of acquainted with Holmesglen. So as Bob mentioned, my name is Alvaro Gomez, and one of the international managers here at Holmesglen. And today I really want to run through generalities and offerings that we have at Holmesglen, and I'll be more interested in getting questions at the end. So I promise we probably want to spend more than 20-25 minutes on what I have to show you, and I'll be happy to take any questions and do my best to answer those at the end of the presentation. All right. So with no further ado, this is what we're doing. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of an understanding of who we are and why the reasons why we should persuade our students to study with Holmesglen. And I've also run very quickly through the application and the admission process at Holmesglen. And at the end, as I said, we'll have some times for Q&As. So we, as Bob mentioned before, we are one of the largest providers of vocational education and higher education in Victoria. We have leading edge with more than 35 years of experience in the vocational education here in Victoria, and quite recently have started also to take on to higher education. So I would put it this way: we have 85% of our programs are within the vocational space, and probably 15 to 20% are in the higher education space. We have grown from delivering 90 courses to around 7,000 students back in 1982 to a multi-sector provider offering around 500 courses to more than 30,000 students, including obviously those who came from international students. We deliver courses to international students across our major campuses here in Melbourne. So we have, and I'll have a visual in the next slide of the campuses, but we basically have those deliveries at Chaston, Melbourne, the Moravi campus, and Waverley. We have a strong international profile with an extensive global reach, which has been built over the last 30 years. And we have international students coming from who have come from more than 80 different countries around the world, from all corners of the globe, people from obviously continents such as Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, and South America. We have a model that is based on offering pathways. So we offer students the possibility to build up on interest in different areas of study. So we offer from certificates to diplomas to advanced diploma up to our highest level right now, that is bachelor's degrees. So we have the minimum, just for you to have an understanding, the lower entry level at Holmesglen are certificate for international students. I said for international students is our certificates 3. And you will see when I'm presenting the portfolio which ones are those. As I mentioned before, so entry point level certificates 3 all the way through bachelor's degree. We at Holmesglen have students that can access a complete range of services and programs to assist them to support their studies and obviously their lives here in Melbourne. So we got a great deal of support for international students, especially. So we have counseling, we have financial advice, we have payment plans for international students as well. Some scholarships, which I'll be briefly touching on in the next slides, and also all the extracurricular activities that our student services and support student services for international students offer, and I will touch base on those briefly as well in the next slides. So as I mentioned before, the 7 campuses at Holmesglen, they all spread across Melbourne, and we do have a campus on a regional location, which is Eildon. That campus is not a teaching facility; it's a practical or practicum facility, and we do operate a business there, which is mainly run by our students from different programs. So we do have a facility in Eildon, which is pretty much booked all the year round and host around 150 guests. It is a convention center. Everything that happens in Eildon stays at Eildon. No, I'm just kidding. But everything that happens in Eildon is actually produced in Eildon. So from food to energy to all the infrastructure and all the producers that are part of the hospitality package that we offer at Eildon to different corporates and even including Holmesglen staff is produced at Eildon, and our students have the opportunity to be part of that functioning at Eildon. So a lot of students from hospitality management courses go and do practicum there. There's a lot of students from our programs in horticulture are also part of the landscaping of Eildon. So it's a beautiful campus. We have a campus on Burke Street. It's our smallest campus, and at the moment, part of our nursing program, our nursing degree, a bachelor's degree, is taught there in the city. Chaston, which is where I'm located at the moment, and it's probably the most iconic campus of iconic and probably the oldest campus at Holmesglen. Has all the building and construction facilities. We have a large facilities here that host our students in building and construction as well as business. We have some graphic design happening in here, and I'll show you on visuals a little bit of what we have in terms of infrastructure here at Chaston. But there's a big mix of courses and offerings here at Chaston. We have our Waverley campus, just 15 minutes away from Chaston, where we have our hospitality management is house for our hospitality management programs. We have a couple of restaurants, one in Waverly and one in Moravi campus, that they are completely run by our international students, those who have obviously involvement with programs alike, like our certificates in cookery, patisserie, students who are doing the Bachelor of Hospitality Management or are doing diplomas or certificates in those areas as well. And then we have Moravin, which is the campus that hosts most of our international, our not only our international students, but all our students that are related to health programs, including most popular, probably one of our most popular programs, which is the program in nursing, which we have a diploma and then a pathway to our bachelor's. There's a hospital, which is called Holmesglen Hospital. It's a private hospital, which obviously Holmesglen has a big major part on it. And most of our students, or some of our students who do the course in nursing have the opportunity to do practicums in there. So basically, as you can see on that quick summary that I just gave you, all campuses are fully equipped with not only especially training facilities, but obviously with all the necessary support, some services that international students and domestic students need to successfully complete their studies here at Holmesglen. So having said that, we'll move on to our major study areas. So this is the portfolio of area of studies. Before going ahead, obviously I have to mention that COVID, as every other single provider, has done its bits in probably not diminishing, but probably reducing the offerings that were able for international students prior to COVID. So that we haven't been the exception to that. So some programs are still on hold. All the information is quite up to date in our website. So for some programs that we had active recruitment of international students, and this prior to COVID, these days we probably put in a break and a standby on those offerings, and it is all on the website. So you can clearly see how there are some programs that is still running and the CRICOS code, so they open for international students, but are not accepting new international students or commencing students at all. And that's because it's been obviously something that that has made a decision due to the impact of COVID. Not saying that those programs are not going to be offered at all in the future, but at the moment they're in standby, and obviously until the demand is back, we won't be taking any new enrollments, and we will obviously let you know in due course once those programs are open. So there's nine areas of studies here at Holmesglen, which basically encloses all the offerings that we have. As I mentioned before, we have we offer pathways to many of our courses with entry points starting on certificate 3 for international students, and for students that are or have completed year 11 or the equivalent of year 11. So that's probably something great for you to know, that because unless students came from a country where they have completed year 12 or the equivalent of year 12, or have gone through an IB program, an international baccalaureate program, they wouldn't be in a position to start any studies in especially higher education studies in Australia. So we do use our certificates and our vet portfolio to offer the students the possibility from year 11 to be engaged in an education setup here in Australia, and obviously to have the opportunity to probably pathway through those certificates and diplomas to higher education areas as well. So that's pretty important to know. The second point that I really want to make in here is the affordability. So In some areas, the students may complete up to 3 qualifications, certificate, diploma, and degree, at a very competitive price. And the other feature and characteristic that I want to point out of our programs is that are very achievable. So we offer pathways that really ensure our students to gain a solid and a strong foundation for their next stage of learning, whatever they choose that to be. We have integrated theory and practice, and in some of our vocational and technical programs, practice is the core component of those programs, so they can actually take advantage of that at every single learning stage of the careers. So obviously, as you may probably know, experience has a great aggregated value these days. So our students who go through the vocational and technical pathways have the great opportunity to have that embedded practical component, practical component that some students by merely going to university obviously don't have. So we have courses on a vocational and technical level that have a high degree of practicability, and basically once students have graduated, they do have a strong component, a practical component that is very attractive to the industry and to the labor market out there. So why study with Holmesglen? So basically what I just mentioned before, that work integrated learning model that I've been talking about, and it's that program of integrating practice with theory, and in most cases, including some theory to practical, because there's some programs that are pretty hands-on, they're full on practical, such as building and construction programs. The certificate 3 in carpentry is a great example of that, where, according to our head of department, the ratio of that program is probably 85–90% of a practical component, with integrated 15% of theoretical staff. So most of the students who come to do a year of carpentry at Holmesglen will have that practicum embedded into the program, which will give them a very competitive edge once they finish here. And obviously, the industry connections that we have as being one of the major vocational and technical providers of Victoria are obviously incomparable with other institutes that also have the same sort of like portfolio that we have, but obviously don't have the connections with industry that we have. A good example of that is our program in nursing and health and nursing. As I mentioned before, we are a leader in health education and community studies on a vet level. Our specialized health presence at our Moravi campus, as I mentioned to you before, includes a state-of-art simulation labs and a private hospital on campus, which is the Holmesglen Hospital that I mentioned before to you. Our students gain an important practice with the support of teachers in all our simulated facilities, and are very well prepared for the work placement in hospital and aged care facilities, and so on and so forth. I want to focus, because I know this is of great interest for many, as I mentioned, our nursing program has a high degree of attractiveness to many students because of the pathway. So we have the program, we offer both. We offer a diploma, which is a program of 2 years, and then we offer a pathway with a bachelor, which will be an additional 2 years to complete the bachelor's, or we offer also the bachelor standalone, which is a 3 years program. And we can extend on that, but I just simply leave you with this so you can dig in further. But the pathway is very attractive to the students because after completing the diploma of 2 years, the students complete the diploma are enrolled as nurses. So they actually get certified as an enrolled nurses, which gives them the alternative or the opportunity to work in the sector and in the industry for the next following 2 years if they decided to go for bachelor's as an enrolled nurses. So that basically gave them a step in the the industry, and obviously on terms of a salary outcomes, our students as an enrolled nurses, students are looking to make something in between $60, $75 an hour to $100 an hour on a Sunday or a Saturday, instead of the common minimum wage that an international student can win or can make by doing hours in any other sort of like setups. So enrolled nurses have that great advantage to pathway through from the diploma to bachelor's, and once they actually finish the bachelor's, they will be qualified as certified nurses, and they can actually work with no restrictions whatsoever. The diploma as an enrolled nurses, the only condition is they need to work under the supervision of a certified nurse. But as we all know, the sector, especially the health sector here in Australia, has a great deficit of staff. So this is a great career to follow for those who actually have an interest in health and obviously the nursing career. This is a visual of our building and construction burns. There's 3 big warehouses in here where students actually get to build houses, and that's what I was actually telling you. So our carpentry course is an outdoor carpentry course. I'm just giving an example of the course in carpentry. So it's a hands-on program where students actually have the opportunity to develop and fully practice what they actually do or will be doing in the real world. We don't have classes merely for international students. We are mixed. So once a student, that's a great another great thing about Holmesglen. Once the students join Holmesglen, they obviously will be always international students, but they become part of the mix and they become part of the faculty. And the students will be mixing and studying and relating to all our domestic students as well. So another reason is, as I mentioned before, and I just want to reassure that is the industry connections and the integrated pathway providers, which is highly recognized and fully integrated it's a fully integrated education model where from English through vocational and study higher education, so students can actually gain a lot of inputs into a future career. Okay, so this is pretty much a student journey. That's the integrated education provided that we offer to international students. So we have ELICOS courses. ELICOS probably, as I mentioned before, were the programs that suffer the most with COVID. So we used to have a very great sweet and sour of ELICOS programs. At the moment, we only offer an ELS, English for, EFS, English for further studies, and ELICOS program. So basically students who are on a 5.5 IELTS level or above can access those courses. Having said that, we do have a pathway program, a fully recognized pathway program with Impact College here in Melbourne, and we're still recognizing students finishing ELICOS programs at different institutions like, like of Greenwich and, ILCC and all the private ELICOS providers that are well known here in Melbourne. So they have the option to move directly to either vocational and technical courses and then pathway through higher education programs, or if they want the pathway directly from ELICOS to our portfolio of higher education, they can do so. And obviously, those 2 outcomes will see students into hopefully a full employment and further education career or path here in Australia. Business and computer IT are the other areas of studies that are quite popular. Um, as I mentioned to you, we do have a couple of restaurants. They fully operational restaurants, and one in our campus in Glen Waverly, which is called Zest, and one in our campus of Moravin, which is called Cilantro. And those two restaurants are operated and run by our international students in hospitality management. From the kitchen to the floor, everything is actually managed by our international students. They're really nice. If you have the opportunity once, if you come to Melbourne and have the opportunity to go and visit those restaurants, or if you're around, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to take you for a nice meal and see how the students actually enjoy having access to a real work experience, a real practicum experience where they actually can develop their full potential into the industry. The strength and diversity at Holmesglen and the engagement and support. Well, as I mentioned to you before, we have, or our students have access to a broad range of community and social activities on and off campus. So we have offices and areas that are that look after our students' well-being. We have a learning skill center. We have a skill and job center that help students to prepare for the labor market as well, where they get a lot of support in, building CVs and helping them to do searches for, those jobs that international students can aspire for when they come to Australia, when they come to Melbourne, and they get a full guide through the programs and access to all those skills and job center educational setups that we have here at Holmesglen. We have public libraries on all campuses. We got on top of that extracurricular activities that goes from trips and tours, showcasing Melbourne and some other Australians and interstates and destinations as well. And obviously we have different club and activities and sessions that students can be part of, like movie clubs, sports activities, and everything, that help students to also have a great mix of studies and entertainment as well. The strength and diversity, as I mentioned to you before, we have historically more than 80 different countries and destinations mixed in all our 4 or 5 campuses that have programs for international students. And obviously our support and services are always adaptive to our diverse student population, and they can actually be reassured that they will have the assistance and help that they will need to have a great experience. Moving to our next point, and I'm happy to take questions at the end, because I guess probably we'll have more questions in here. So the application process at Holmesglen is pretty straightforward. So you got the application form. We need a copy of the applicant's passport. There's the photo page on that. I think this is pretty standard for you guys. The academic transcripts, any transcripts that students have from previous studies. We need to have the English translation verified by your office, by Yes Group. The evidence of English language proficiency. So if the students have an IELTS, if the students don't have an IELTS, except for the programs in education, which is a program, well, let's be realistic, except for the programs in nursing, we can also organize a test for the students to sit and verify that level of English. We call that a password test. So once you place an application, we can actually generate a code for students to sit down for that test and be tested and see if the student do well. The faculty most likely will be able to let them in when the students scored nicely on the password test, which is a computer-based test that we have organized with some providers in the UK. The GT checklist, which I'll show you next, and the statement of purpose, which I'll show you also next. So this is basically the GT checklist. So sections A through 12, where the student actually finally seen the declaration. I will be sharing that email, the presentation with you, or Bob will be emailing you that back. The link is active, and you can find the PDF version of the application form, or you can get that from our course online. But basically, the GTA checklist is composed by the sections from section number 8 to section 12, which is the signature, and it is quite self-explanatory. So I don't think there's any need to go through any of those points, but if there is, please let me know, and I'll be happy to point you through anything that you have a question on. And the SOP, which is probably the bit of a pain in the butt, and we have a complete guide that also is attached there as a PDF, where we basically got you through the composition of a decent, appealing SOP. I might probably need to check with you, Bob, and send you the latest version, because obviously the Department of Home Affairs made a adjustment into that, and they limited that SOP to be only 300 words. So basically, in 300 words, we expect the student, or with your help, to state what they want to come to Australia, what they want to study at Holmesglen, what they want to study, what they have chosen to study, and how they believe that will basically favor them in the future once they back in their countries, so they come across as a genuine temporary entries, and they will have a high chance to, one, get an offer letter from Holmesglen, and obviously two, if they overseas, to get a visa with no questions asked. All right, I think I just flow through. I'm hoping that I haven't missed anything, and I'm ready for you guys to do some Q&As or go back to any of the slides that we've seen. If there's any questions that you may want to throw to the floor.
Thanks, Alvaro. That was great. Good to have a comprehensive presentation on Holmesglen, and I hope everyone had a good idea of what Alvaro presented today. So now we will open up the floor for questions. So please, if you've got any specific questions on Holmesglen, please do ask in the chat box. There's one question here from Evie, Evie John. She asks, so students who complete year 11, can they enroll to Cert 3 in Holmesglen? Do they have to be 18 years old to enroll?
Correct. Yeah. Thank you, Evie. Yep. So yes and yes. So students who complete year 11, the equivalent of our year 11, which is most of the war, year 11 completion, can enroll into not only certificate 3, but there's some you will need to check the entry requirements for each program, and I'll show you if I can. Probably I'm just gonna stop sharing here, and I'm just gonna show you how. But yeah, every single in our website, and if you let me, Bob, I'm going to share that shortly. So yes and yes, unfortunately, we used to have a policy that allows us to have minors, but it's no longer the case. So students need to be 18 years old at least to come to Holmesglen. And yes, if they have completed year 11, for some programs, they will actually be able to start the programs. So are you all, can you all see the Holmesglen website?
Yes, we can see. Yeah,
So
this would be
now,
good to show everyone just an example of the requirements.
so now I'm moving. So again, so this is the main page. There's on the tabs on the right hand of the screen. So if you hover on international and click on international students, then you're taken to this bit. Can you see that the international students website now or not?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Did we move, or am I sharing the wrong website? Let me just double check that.
Yeah, just share again.
Okay. There's probably this one. This is the one that okay. All right. Let me know if you're seeing the change. So I'm going back to the main screen. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So you just hover on international and click on international students. So we have the 9 areas of studies here. And just to give you an example, I'm just gonna pick a random one, computer and IT. So computer and IT, this is the area, and these are all the programs that we have. So from bottom to top are the entry level. So we have the entry level for IT is certificate 4. So if we want to check randomly the certificate for information technology and programming, we click on that link and we go to requirements. So the VC or equivalent material age, 18 years of age and above with English proficiency of 5.5. So in this case, the VC or equivalent is year 12. So in this case, the students won't have access to this program if they finish high school. Let's try a different one. Let's try hospitality and tourism and have a look at the certificate for in cookery, which is a year. So entry requirement could pass at year 11 or the overseas equivalent. So this is clearly a sample where a student who have finished year 11 and have or is 18 years of age minimum can apply directly to this program and will be a pathway program to this certificate for in cookery will be a pathway program to a diploma and then a Bachelor of Hospitality. So they can actually then pathway through hospitality management diploma, and they can do the Bachelor of Hospitality Management if they want. So that's probably a way of pathwaying through the programs. So as I mentioned, each program has a different requirement, and they all listed there on the website.
So for example, this one, so this would be a packaged course. So certificate plus diploma plus bachelor. So is it 3 years?
For which one, Bob?
The certificate, let's say certificate 4 in patisserie plus diploma of hospitality management plus Bachelor of Hospitality Management. If we package that all together, how long would that be?
Okay, so here, so we got 1 year in patisserie, right? So we got 1 year in patisserie, and then from here you pathway through the diploma. So like you got a year and then you do pathway to the diploma of management, where you get a year of studies, and you will be doing 1 year in the diploma, 6 months on this, sorry, a year on the certificate 4, 6 months in here, because you will be getting credits of a year because of the completion of the certificate 4. So a year and a half or 2 years, depending on the results, to complete certificate and diploma. And then you will get through the bachelor's, and I'm pretty sure the bachelor's you will get some credits as well. Let me just see. Okay. So you'll get the qualification and diploma of hospitality management, and usually students completing the diploma of hospitality management get up to a year in the bachelor's. So that will be an extra 2 years. So you will be completing certificate, diploma, and bachelor's in 4 years. That will be the whole package. Okay. For those who need to build up the pathway.
4 years altogether, yeah?
Yeah. For those who need to build the pathway into the bachelor's, because remember that you can also apply to the bachelor directly, but to apply for the bachelor's directly, one of the requirements is that you have the completion of year 12. All right. So for those prospects that have not completed the year 12, and instead of coming and doing foundation degrees or a year of studies overseas, they can take advantage of the pathways that we offer through the vocational and technical, and then jump into the bachelor's. Yeah.
Got it. So how many degrees can package with certificate? How many options are there? I think you can package many courses through the bachelor, right?
Yeah. So as far as there's a bachelor offer in the area of studies, they all interconnected. So there's a reason for the bachelors to be there. For instance, one that is pending and we're changing is we used to have our Bachelor of Education and Childcare here, which is being revamped. And that will be soon available to international students. The reason why is because the reason the faculty is restructuring that program is because the IELTS component was very high, it was 7.5. So they actually taking that component of education away, so they can actually do the early education and childcare bachelor. So students don't need to score the high ends on IELTS, and they can actually transit from the diploma of early education and care to the bachelor's with a 6 or a 6.5 in IELTS instead of a 7.5, which is it's a high call for many international students, right? So as far as the there's a bachelor, and I can tell you computer and IT is one of those. So we have some certificate 4 to diploma, and also some advanced majors in here as advanced programming to the bachelor's. They all programs that are being built to provide the students that pathway, Bob, if that's what you ask.
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the greatest features of VET and from an institution like Holmesglen, obviously, because there's a lot of providers in Melbourne, RTOs or TAFEs, they call colleges, private colleges, that they do have a decent portfolio, but they don't have the depth that we can offer students to do that extra mile if they wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. So next question, we got someone that's saying, well, we got a few questions about gaps. Mm-hmm. So if someone's finished the high school 2.5 years ago, And is that enough to apply? Like, what's your requirements on the gap
Look,
between high school and applying?
as far as you guys provide us with the whole picture of the years and why the gaps, and there's a convincing logical reason for those, we have no issues in offering a place to any student, right? Some students do have gaps because different reasons, because they go and decided to work, or because they have had some family matters that they needed to attend first, but in that history, in that natural flow of history that we want as students, you need to put it all, and you need to probably, especially if the candidate is overseas, if the prospective student is overseas, we wanna have a story for those gaps. It's okay to have gaps, but as far as we can have a logical, reasonable explanation for those gaps, we will consider any applicant. That's not a problem.
Okay, great.
I can.
No master's courses offered for sports-related programs.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah,
we don't have any masters. We used to have one, but because of low demand, and it was we used to have a master's in professional accounting,
yeah.
But due to a low demand, and that was mainly a program that it was completely driven by international students. So that is something that is being discarded by the time being.
Yeah. So normally when a student finishes high school, you just look for passing grade, right? That's usually the entry requirement.
Yeah. We don't need to. I mean, we don't. Mostly, like the pathway programs, which are the vocational and technical, are quite flexible. So what we need is a pass. There will be some courses if they decided to go for bachelor's directly, that will like ask good passes in maths and things like that. Especially like if they applying directly for the Bachelor of IT, or maybe nursing. But if they're using the path, one of the pathways, as far as they have passed, that's the important thing. I can see here another question, Bob, which is about a student having applied to Holmesglen by another agent, and now wants one of your agents to help them. Would it be possible? Yes. Again, if there's been a rejection, whatever the reason is behind that rejection, don't feel apprehensive or afraid of mentioning that. We know that sometimes visa rejections are unjustified, and we will take the necessary measures to go again through that application. Please mention that. Be open and honest. So I think there's questions there were in the application form that you can tick and said that the students have previously applied and been denied for whatever reasons. And we will obviously that will actually help us to speed up the process and have a more sort of like close scrutiny. And if you can mention that and mention why you believe the student is now a genuine student, we will take the application in and we'll assess it again and give you an outcome according to the quality of the application. Maximum year gap for enrollment in bachelor programs. There's again a question about a year gaps. Again, no, we I don't know if that's becoming a thing, but as far as the gaps are justified, we don't have any issues in students applying with previous gaps as far as the gap is justified. That's all completely okay. What will be marriage certificate material you need to pass GT? Oh, that's I don't know if you can understand that question, but what will be the what will be marriage certificate? A question from
Yeah, oh
Sona.
yeah, they mean yes. So they mean so if someone that's married wants to take their partner, how long would they need to be married for before they apply? Because some universities, some providers have a rule like if the marriage is less than 1 year, then they're not allowed to apply.
No, we don't have any of those rules.
Okay, sure,
So
sure.
yeah.
So you're happy to take marriage applicants and their dependents?
Yeah, again, look, as far as the stories matches, you know, and there's a logical, reasonable, believable line of events on that, we want, you know, and if there's anything that is not clicking, we will ask for more evidence, and we will get to the bottom of it. Yeah,
Sure.
we don't.
And any age requirement for bachelor enrollment?
Yeah, look, any age, but you know, that obviously, that's also that's also something a profile will play hard on immigration agency making an assessment for a visa as well, you know. So obviously, there's you know like there's we don't discriminate by age or sex or any reasons.
Yeah.
So if there's a mature age applicant, so all the questions are going to be asked and all the answers are expected. Okay, so do you accept past refusal cases? Yes, we have no issues with refusals as far as you come clean and tell us there's been a refusal in the past, which is part of the application process, and why do you believe as a now agent taking on the case that was an unfair outcome? We will take the case again and we'll assess it again. Do you have to apply for 2 years diploma to get a visa as international students? Do we have to apply for 2 years diploma to get the visas? And no, you can apply for a 6 months course. We have courses ranging from 6 months to, you know, bachelors of 3 years. So again, as far as the application is strong, there's a strong reasoning behind the application. You don't need to apply for a 2 years diploma to get an international student visa. So there's different types of applications that you can actually appeal for. ELICOS students are coming to the country with visas of 6 months, 24 weeks, 12 weeks even. So I don't think they limiting, they never been a limited of weeks or time for an international student to apply for a visa. Even for 6 months, we get a visa? Again, yes, Manoja, yes, I replied to your question. So we have programs of 6 months as far as everything clicks into the application and you have a justification of why that person is coming to a 6 months course, how that program is going to be beneficial for the student once they return home. All the questions that logical questions that you believe are going to be asked by an immigration agent. You establish that on the SOP, why the interest, why Holmesglen, why Melbourne, why, you know, in 300 words, which is basically the spam of words that you have to convince not only us to give up a student a place, but immigration. They can apply for a 6 months program, and we have many certificates that are of that length of 6 months.
Okay, that's great. We're about to hit 5 p.m. So thank you, Alvaro, for the presentation again. And if anyone has any further questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with myself, and we will assist with all applications to Holmesglen. And I think, yeah, there's a great range of courses there that are popular with your students in your market. So for more details, just get in touch with us and we'll be more than happy to help. And in the meantime, yeah, hope to see you guys at the next webinar. And thank you, Alvaro, for all of your assistance today. And we hope to send you some good students from
Great.
our markets very
Yeah,
soon.
I hope to see many students from your end, or a bunch of good students from you. And thank you all for your attention. I hope the presentation is of any use. And again, if you need anything else, if you wanna deep in anything else, please do that through our Yes group. We're here to help and here to clear up any questions and clarify anything that you may need. Thank you, Bob,
Perfect.
for your
Thank
time
you.
as well, and have a great rest of the day for you guys, wherever you are,
Thank you.
and evening
you.
for those who are in this part of the world as well.
Fantastic. Thank you again.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.